Okay, great way to find out what's going on with your flu or Mr. COVID is some really good online stuff that most people don't know about. So I'm going to give you a quick run through, show you what looks nationally. I'll do real quick to a few states. Hey, pick your own state. I don't know where everybody lives. A lot to look at, but I'd rather go see this than listen to the news. So here you see the national, and this is what they call the flu dashboard, and they mention the ILI, which is an indicator, and that just means that people are showing up to the ER complaining of flu-like symptoms. The thing with COVID is some of you get nothing, some of you get anything, some of it feels like a cold. So not all of you are going to show up at the ER, but if it gets bad enough, it should pop up. Now nationally, we're looking good. So let's also go over here. We're at the most recent 3 weeks. We're showing type A and B still around in flu, but it's leveling off, which is good. Now let's pick my state. We'll go over here to state, and we'll choose Maryland. So let's just see the difference. So right here in Maryland, you already see there. Now this is a week behind, by the way. There is a delay on data. We've been flat. So, we have people coming in, flu-like illness, coming into the ERs and the clinics. The funny thing is there's no A and B detected in the last 3 weeks. So whatever they're coming with and it feels like flu, it may or may not be COVID, but it's definitely not A or B. So that's what I'm saying is each state is going to be different. Um, I don't know how Pennsylvania rates. Pennsylvania's looking good again on this particular metric. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of this one. Now we're going to click back to this other one, which is very interesting. This is really pneumonia and influenza mortality surveillance. Sorry, it's so brutal for the name. But looking, what it means here is whenever there's a red line way out of the band, then you have an issue. And it looks like there was a regular flu issue during that period then. Maybe we didn't hear about it. Didn't make the news. So we're doing national, regional, but I want you to pay attention to this line over here. That's what matters. So we go down to a region, and I'm going to pick New York region, and you can see big difference in the blip we had then and the blip we had now for pneumonia and influenza. So it doesn't break it down to COVID, but I think you get the point there. Not a good place to be hanging. So if we come down here to Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, obviously a bigger territory, much more skewed, and I'll show you why in a minute. But Virginia is doing much better than Maryland or Pennsylvania. But again, there is a increase, but nothing horrible. Anyway, you can go back and check it yourself. This is called the Flu View Mortality from CDC. And now I'm going to go into state specific. So that's where you can get granular. You'll notice the left here on this one, if you're in the blue, then you have a lot over 20% of expected deaths reported, which means high. So right now we're looking at Massachusetts, and again, pretty high blip here now compared to what they experienced back when everybody else had it issued in 2017-18. Very different there. If we click on New York City, a startling difference in the chart. Obviously, with population, things like that, it matters. But again, it's a visual, so it's a little more impact than some people on TV and spouting off a bunch of numbers. I'd rather just show you the pictures. Again, we're going to look at Pennsylvania. Not horrible, so they've done a good job. So yeah, it's painful, but done a good job. Maryland, so far so good. Now, what's interesting is watch the difference when you see Virginia. It's like all of a sudden they didn't get hit as hard. Maybe it's just a bigger state and more population. I can't figure it out. The next one I went into is South Carolina. Again, extremely different looking from the Northeast population centers. So I think this area up here got pretty much hit. I don't know why. I'm not a doctor, but it is very interesting there. If you look at Louisiana, we know they had a spike there, which in one of the things I'm going to show you in a minute. And let's see if we can move through that. But again, you can go there, you can look for yourself state, you can make your own determination, just look around. Everybody's a little different, granularity is going to be different. Next I'm going to show you is where I happen to be residing in Maryland. This is our COVID sheet. Obviously, it's this color chart here, and you can see the big clusters, mainly in I-95 corridor, which is where most of the people live. Again, population density. There is a splurge out here. This is poultry processing, so it made the news also. Here is our one of the metrics they look at: ICU beds, all that. We're technically flat, a little bit better, but obviously doing better in some of these metrics than others. The other thing I look at is the number of negative test results in a day. I add that to the positive, and that gives me a total, and I'd really like to see some numbers around 10,000 tests a day. I'm not seeing that. But the ratios, you can do that to that, or if you can do the daily ratio. Right now we're running about 27% of people with symptoms who get a doctor's note to get tested, so on and so forth. 27% are showing positive. So even though people have symptoms, not all of them are showing up as COVID. So that's good. You can move around. If you want to go deeper, each county, this is my county, has a map. My area is a little bit denser in people, about 60,000, and we have 246 cases. Again, what's weird is in certain parts where it's a little more or less dense in population, people are more spread out. There are no cases. Other places, very few in my county. So it's kind of interesting how it spreads, and a lot has to do with density. So again, you can do your own research, find your own stuff. Each county goes into racial breakdown, pretty much anything you need to know. We'll go into nursing homes, and yes, they've always been known as a place. Even in hospitals, you catch a lot of bugs and pathogens, even though you weren't supposed to be there. But you can do your own looking there. The main thing why I bring this up is this is one of the latest health reports, and it's CDC, and what they did is they looked at 4 specific events. Sorry. And let's just go to the pictures a little quicker. You can go back and read it all. But here is Mardi Gras, when everybody hung out, and then about 14 days later, it's just showing the transmission effect. This was a Boston conference. I think it was 150 people. And again, boom, and then Massachusetts got really infected. And then we have Albany, Georgia. They looked at a funeral, which was around 100 people that gathered for it. So unfortunately, paying respects was not always great. And this big one here is the I think that's not sure that highlight there, but this is one, the Nile River cruise that y'all heard about, where people came back from February 11th to March 5th, and you can see they got pretty good seated across the country. So again, we get hit in multiple places coming in. That's how viruses work. This is all predicted ahead of time, by the way. So again, if you want, look at your own state, see where you are. But again, I don't know if numbers are good or not. I can only show you what they put out, and each state's different, and some in heavy populations are just hit harder. It's just the way it is. It looks to be more contagious. They're looking at that. They're looking at people overweight. Again, it's been 3 months. They just don't have the time into it yet. But the more you wait, the better you get. So then that's up to you what you do. And go check your information by your state and what they're permitting, and the usual stuff. Wash your hands, spray down, throw a mask on. I mean, it's not that difficult, but it's not that horrible. So have a good one.